Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man, Scotty D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddie Cool. And without any further ado, here they are, the Sports Bros. What's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddie Cool, a.k.a. the head of creative, the HOC up in here at the Sports Bros Podcast. And this is episode 22, Emmitt Smith, Clyde Drexler, those numbers, of the Sports Bros Podcast. Thanks for listening. And guess what? I am not by myself. With me is the Almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? This be your boy, the Almighty B Live, 1/3 of the Sports Bros Podcast. Man, I'm excited. We are so close to football. I've watched the Hall of Fame game probably 7 times right now. That's how bad my itch is for football right now. We'll talk about it. Go ahead and introduce that other guy that's part of the podcast that nobody cares about. All right.
Wow, starting off hot and spicy already. And as always with us, we got the one, the only Money Man, Scotty D.
Yeah, baby, here I am. I am ready for some action today. Welcome to our new listeners. And we just want to say thank you for tuning in. Where have you been? We'd like to say that to you. And we also, I'm the rational guy here. Scott, I'm the rational one. B Live already took a shot at me. That's okay. You'll see as time goes on that these fellas, they're lucky to have me.
Lucky, blessed, whatever we want to call it. But guess what? We're here one more again for another episode.
Not a one more again.
One more again.
Love it. Yes.
I'm feeling pretty good today. So yeah, hopefully I don't I'm cured of the stomach bug. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fine, holding food down. My finger is back in one piece again. So life is great. Can't ask for nothing else. All right. As B-Live mentioned, we are ever so close to football season. And guess what? Week 1 of the preseason is in the books. We had the Falcons and the Broncos play last night. Falcons and the Broncos played this past Thursday night. And the game ended on a pretty acrobatic, athletic touchdown catch. I don't know the wide receiver for the Denver Broncos' name is. He probably won't make the roster. But guess what? It was a dope catch, and it's good to see professional football one more again. Now it's time for some NFL news and notes. The last time we left you here at the Sports Bros Podcast, Michael Thomas wanted some money. Melvin Gordon, he wanted some money. And it's still no deal for Zeke, who's working out in Cabo, Mexico. Amari Cooper, he's going to want some money. And Dak Prescott, he going to want some money too. Boy, Scotty D, your Cowboys are in a pressing situation. But we got some breaking news. Well, not some breaking news, but breaking news. We got it anyway. Michael Thomas gets paid, y'all. The Saints wide receiver gets a 5-year, $100 million deal with $61 million guaranteed up front. Good Lord, that's a whole lot of money, making him the highest paid receiver in football right now. Scotty D, we're going to start with you first. You think Michael Thomas is worth all $100 million?
Oh, hell no. There's nobody worth that kind of money. But as far as the receiver market goes, it'll be interesting to see if the Saints are going to feel like they get their money's worth once Drew Brees is gone, because Drew Brees is not going to last the duration of that deal. And dare I say, he might have a big hand in helping Michael Thomas get that money. So I think Drew Brees is this his last year on his deal, if I'm not mistaken? I think last year he signed a 2-year extension. I'm not ready to say that this is going to be Brees' last year. You know, him and those older quarterbacks these days seem to be getting paid. They be getting their money. But, Michael Thomas was, I think, a second-round pick, and he's been worth whatever they've paid him so far as the wide receiver market goes. Is he worth that money? Well, I don't know. As a Cowboy fan, it hurts me to see him get that much because that's going to drive Amari Cooper's price up that much more.
Yep.
Hold on. Scott. Did you just say that Michael Thomas played up to the contract he had before? Is that what you could repeat that? So maybe because my hearing is a little off sometimes.
I don't know what I just said.
You, of course, you don't.
I was on a roll.
You were
No,
on a
but
roll.
I know that he didn't get first round draft pick money.
He didn't.
Yeah, because he was second round draft pick. His he was looking to make $1.1 million this year before he sat out, and now is the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. But I'm pretty sure that's not going to last long
No.
because Julio Jones, Atlanta, as much as it pains me to say anything about the Falcons, them dirty birds, all of them, all of the above, they gonna pay him. And Julio Jones, he sort of showed up and showed out against the Panthers on the tune of 300 freaking receiving yards, like driving Mack trucks through our freaking secondary. What the heck is going on here? But yeah, he's going to get paid. Michael Thomas deserves every bit of it. And what's there to say that Drew Brees does not last the duration of that 5-year contract? Because I'm a steal it from Eddie Cool anyway. I'm going to segue a little bit into it. We'll cover all these points, but Tom Brady's going to be with us for another 3 years. Ugh.
Yeah, but this was a 5-year deal, wasn't it? What did Michael Thomas sign? 5 years?
Yep, 5-year, $100 million, $60 million up front. Yep, and I did some research, some quick research. Drew Brees is in the last year of a 2-year contract.
Yeah, and he's 40, so.
Yep, just turned 40. Yep.
And Tom Brady's 42. Well,
well, that's what I'm
Drew
saying. These older guys are these older guys are getting paid, but can we rightfully expect in the game of football for these guys to play 5 more years? I don't know.
I don't see 5, but I honestly I don't see any reason why he doesn't sign a 3-year deal of his own. I could tell you probably in the back of Drew Brees' mind is the fact that Tom Brady can do it, I can too. And on top of that, I think Drew Brees had because stats wise, statistically speaking, Drew Brees has more than Tom Brady does. Only thing that Tom Brady has more of is Super Bowl rings. That's it.
Rings says things, even though championships aren't guaranteed, but rings says things. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Brees, excuse me, inks a 3-year deal just to keep that good thing going, because he might be like Ric Flair. I got one more run left in me. Woo! Please don't sue me, Ric Flair, because I ain't got nothing. All right. All right, let's see. Melvin Gordon request trade, but here's the interesting thing about the whole Melvin Gordon situation. The 4 games that he missed last year, the Chargers won without Melvin Gordon. So it's a classic case of who needs who in this situation. And as I stated earlier, no deal for Zeke, Dak, or Amari of the Cowboys. I don't know if they're going to pay all 3 of them, but I think Jero might do something. And speaking of Julio Jones, he said he ain't going to play in the preseason. He said, I'm good. I don't need it. I understand, though. I understand with him because he got that lingering foot issue, man. That's one thing that'll plague his career, that doggone foot issue. And speaking of Mr. Tom Brady signs the extension, and from the looks of it, he's going to be about 45 when it's all said and done. I know B-Life got something to say about Tom Brady playing till he's 45. I was right.
See, God, I tried to jump the gun because I knew that creative head over there was going to rub it in my face that he was right when he was talking about Tom Brady playing forever. I mean, you right about the fact that he playing 3 more years, but you was wrong about him making it to any more Super Bowls. I'm sorry. It's just that I think honestly the torch will pass this year. So Tom Brady can play and do whatever. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna say it first on the air. Tom Brady gonna end up in a divorce. It's gonna happen because you know what? Listeners out there, do you know who Tom Brady is married to, and yet he refuses to retire? She still makes more money than he does, and he want to go out here and play football and grab tail with the guys as opposed to grabbing that tail he got at home. What are you, Tom Brady? What are you doing? She makes the money, bro. I'm looking for that right now. I need a sugar mama in my life, bro. You got it. Let it go. You got 6 rings. What more do you have to prove? Go
Scotty
for it
D.
and sat down.
Sat down somewhere. Scotty D, what you think about Tom Brady playing till he's 90?
If they protect him, he's going to keep playing. I mean, as long as his body feels good, and evidently it does. I mean, we all know he's eating avocado ice cream and all that good stuff, you know. So as long as he's taking care of his body and they do all they can to protect him, I don't see why he can't keep playing a few more years. He doesn't have a real bad history of injuries. I know he had the ACL tear, and that was probably 12 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if him and Breeze, these guys, you know, if they're taking care of their bodies, you know, why not let him? Let's see him. I'd want to ride it out. You know, if I had the greatest quarterback of all time and he still had the desire to get it done, yeah, let's keep going with him.
Like I said, man, it's hard to count out Brady. As long as Brady and Belichick are together, it is really hard to count them out.
It's hard. It's hard to count them out, but I'm counting them out.
Yeah, they make it really, really tough, really, really hard. But you know what? I'm gonna pick this one. I'm gonna pick that one. But every damn year, them damn Patriots, they got their ass hoisting another Lombardi trophy. In a way, it's predictable. In a way, it's disheartening. But man, the way it's set up, man, it is what it is. All right, B Live, what you think about this? And we're gonna move on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the store right now and buy some avocado ice cream because I wanna keep doing what it do. Hashtag avocado ice cream. We said it first. We want royalties.
Yeah, we still looking for sponsors. So if there's any kind of avocado ice cream company that wants to sponsor a sports related podcast, we're gonna give you your plugs. We will give you your plugs about your avocado ice cream all you want to. Just give us the money. All right. Since everybody else got their money, we'll be getting ours eventually. One day, don't know when, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Now let's roll into our next segment, which is the choices of the voices section. Well, the listeners, we ask you a question, you give us answers, and we talk about it, opine about it, discuss and debate, if you will. All right, Scotty D, what was the question that you asked our listeners?
So last week I posed the question, what is the greatest NFL game that you have ever seen that was not a Super Bowl game? Best game ever.
Best game ever. All right, and here we go. Our first one is the uncle to the show, Uncle Max. He gave us a specific date, December 31st, 1967. The Ice Bowl at Lambeau Field, Dallas versus Green Bay. The temperature was negative 15 degrees. It was cold. And I think a trip to the Super Bowl was on the line as well, too. That's one of the greatest games in NFL history, along with hypothermia and everything else. Chris Overholt and JR, they both said the Giants and the Eagles game, where the Eagles came back to beat the Giants on a Deshaun Jackson punt return for a touchdown. Both of them said the Miracle at the Meadowlands 2, not 1, but Miracle at the Meadowlands 2 were their greatest games of all times in their opinion. Pete Talinsky, Scott.
Yep.
He said January 10th, 1982. January 10th, 1982. And what happened? Dwight Clark's catch against the Dallas Cowboys.
You know, between Pete and Max, it's almost like they're trying to ruin this podcast for me. Picking
boy.
the Ice Bowl and which, granted, I wasn't born yet, but still not a shining moment as a Cowboy fan. And the Dwight Clark catch. Yeah, thanks for bringing that childhood memory up. That's fantastic there, Pete. Thanks a lot for that one.
Pete, I greatly appreciate it. Max, absolutely, because anytime that we can bring pain to Scotty D, the money man, is just beautiful to me. And on top of that,
Dwight Clark went to Clemson, right?
Yeah. Quick.
Scott, you make me sick.
Were you going there with that?
You
Let's
make me so sick.
let's see.
You
20
just
minutes
want
into the show.
you
20
want to
minutes.
steal my thunder just like that. Yes, all roads lead to Dabo.
Yep.
We got a new record, Scotty D. 20 minutes into the show, and we already get a Clemson and the all roads lead to Dabo mention.
Yeah.
Damn it, Be Live. You never cease. Don't ever change, Be Live. Don't ever change. Whatever you do, never change.
He was sitting on that one like an egg ready to hatch all week. He couldn't wait to hatch that one. I knew it.
Sure,
No,
sure.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. With all roads lead to Dabo, the things that we do, honestly, they're on the fly. They really are. And then when he mentioned the White House, like, oh, there it is. I found it. And then you stole it from me. Thanks a lot, there, guy. Dear sweet mother of God. Eddie Cool, train back on the tracks, man. I'll tell you what, that's
I should be big as Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner for as many times I've taken this here train and put back on the track. Just don't ask me to do math because I'll damn near sound like him in that promo. Ooh, baby.
Oh, my God. That's
holler if you hear me.
All
right.
I will repost that on our Facebook like page because if you've never heard that promo, you've got to hear it. And I'm sorry ahead of time that you're going to lose some IQ points after you hear that promo.
Yeah, smoke, steam, and everything else. All right, here we go. Trey Duke, October 6th, 2003. The Colts comeback win versus the Bucks. I think it was a Monday night game.
Yeah.
I think it was a Monday night game. Yes, it was a Monday night game, and that was a pretty good game. I remember that one.
Peyton Manning was a straight fire in the last was 3 or 4 minutes of that game.
Yeah, last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. Tampa Bay had a chance to close it out, but they didn't. And that's another just like when you had the time when you had the coach down, you got to shut the door. You got to shut that door. All right, let's see. We have Rodney Bellamy. This is a good one. I really remember this one. September 21st, 2008. The Ronnie Brown Wildcat game. Oh, my God. The time they played the Patriots in Miami. And ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you the Ronnie Brown Show. Yeah, the Patriots. This is one of the few times I've ever seen the Patriots look befuddled as they did. Because it was crazy. Do you remember that, Scotty D? Do you remember that game?
Oh, yeah. I was working at Overtime Sports Cafe at the time. May that place rest in peace. But
it's so hard.
Yeah, it's hard to say goodbye to that. But yeah, I remember that when that was going on because we had never really seen that done before. I mean, that Wildcat game changed things in the NFL for a couple of years because a lot of teams started to implement that kind of offense. So that was a pretty big deal, and they weren't expected to beat the Patriots at that time. And that's probably one of the few times in his career where Bill Belichick can just say he just flat got out coached. He just got beat that day.
Yeah, and shout out to Rodney, and we got a birthday boy in the house, Clifton Lewis, who listens to the Sports Bros podcast. Today is his birthday, so I know they were elated, jumping up and down, jumping for joy against the Patriots for that game. And traditionally, man, the Patriots have had a hard time in Miami. Just look what happened last year. Now, just look what happened last year with the ending of that game. All right, Mike Davis chimes in. He says the Steelers-Colts playoff game, and there was a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. And
I think it was a division game, actually.
Division game? Okay.
I think it was I think the winner went to the AFC Championship, if I'm not mistaken, and I think the Steelers ended up going on to beat Denver the following week. Don't hold me to that, but that was a high drama game, and one of the biggest memories I have of that game was Jerome Bettis on the goal line got hit and the ball popped up in the air. And I think it was Bob Sanders of the Colts picked it up and had open field ahead of him. He was going to run this thing all the way back. But for some reason, Ben Roethlisberger had floated back away and was there to make a shoestring tackle and basically save that game for the Steelers. And I can remember just coming down to Peyton Manning had the ball last, and he drove him down, and Vanderjagt missed a field goal hard to the right. Like, it was, like, not even close. and I'm pretty sure those were the events that took place in that game. But that was a crazy game. I think the final score was 21-18.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not the game Mike was talking about, then we still just talked about a hell of a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's still a hell of a game. Yeah. Yeah, then we got Mike Vanderjagt, aka the idiot kicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Long live the idiot kicker. All right, Jeff Seibert, what's up, Jeff? The 2003 Steelers versus the Browns playoff game. Well, the Steelers won 36-33, and guess what? He was there at Heinz Field when it all went down. Yep, I'm pretty sure it was a good game, 33-36. Those AFC North slugfest, man, they are real tough, man. I think it's one of the toughest divisions of football.
Yeah, and I think in that game, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Browns had a significant lead, and the Steelers came roaring back. I think because I feel like the same weekend the Giants and the 49ers had a similar game where both teams blew big leads, and that's probably the Browns. I'm sure it is the Browns' last playoff appearance. If I was to guess right, but I think the Browns were up in that game by a pretty decent margin early in the game.
Yeah,
and Steelers came roaring back. But yeah, those interdivisional games in that conference or in that division, those are always good.
Yeah, I think the Browns. I think a few years after that, they had one more winning season, and then the bottom fell out, continuously fell out. But we'll have a different looking Browns this year. And Martin Tracy, he says the snowplow game, December 12th, 1982. I was only a couple weeks old at the time. I was a wee baby boy at the time. Miami at New England. Yeah, ain't no snow in Miami. Fish don't swim in the snow, all right? So that was another great game as well, too. Be Live, you're mighty quiet. What was your favorite game back there?
Well, I was soaking in all these wonderful memories. You know, it's just football is just I love it. I mean, and all of these answers were really, really good games, and just I was actually reminiscing about that that was Ben Roethlisberger of old, and like he chased my man down and saved that game for him after sure-handed to bust Jerome Bettis. Wow, you'd have never thought that. So it was such a roller coaster of emotions. So that was something I was like, I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh my goodness.
He saved him from being a goat pretty much in that situation.
Literally. Yeah, he saved him.
So my favorite game, though, honestly, because I've had the luxury of being at a few live games, and Eddie Cool, my favorite game, though, the nail biter, cardiac cats, because God knows my Panthers can't just win a game. We've got to somehow make it close. But the 2015 Monday night contest against the Indianapolis Colts.
We were there for that one.
We were there. Shout out to my man Nick Way and Ian Woodward. I actually won those tickets through my former employer, Applebee's. So 4 tickets to a Monday night game. Oh, yeah, I had to bring my boys with me. But, man, rain on top of rain. The Panthers were up, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I know that the Colts ended up scoring 20 unanswered. So I think the let's see, it was 23. Yeah, the Panthers were up 23-6 going into the fourth quarter. And then Andrew Luck wanted to do Andrew Luck things and actually brought it. Oh my goodness. And it's one of those things that ended up going into overtime because of the rain. A lot of people actually had left, and people were underneath the covered area and everything like that. I was like, we're braving the elements. I want to see this full on. We actually snuck down to the lower level seats and everything and watch Luke Kuechly. Freaking just being Luke Kuechly, interception, tip ball, saved the game. Luke took over that fourth quarter and just made it incredibly difficult. And Graham Gano gets a lot of flack from some Panther fans, but he was very sure-footed that game and definitely kicked them 2 decisive field goals to win in overtime. So, I mean, that was just an amazing game to be a part of. just the fact that I won tickets, so it cost me nothing to go, and I was able to bring 3 of my close friends with me. Man, it was just an amazing time, and that was part of that just amazing 15-1 dab on them season. Man, it was just wonderful, wonderful year for football that year, man. So that was my favorite.
Great year for football. Scotty D, what you got?
Well, I'm going to give you a quick honorable mention first, just because it's hard to narrow down when you're my age.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm a little bit older, so it's hard to quite narrow that down. But in 1994, there was a Monday Night Football game between the Denver Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs that had Joe Montana towards the end of his career going up against John Elway, and in the last 2 minutes, both guys led comebacks down the field, and Montana ended up leaving 8 seconds on the board and beating the Broncos. I think 31-28 was the final score. But two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks, both doing what they did best, was something I'll always remember. And I think Willie Davis was the receiver that Montana threw that final touchdown pass to. That was just an incredible game. But when I was a kid, this is actually the same. I'm pretty sure it was the same year as the catch game. So I was only 9 years old, but there was a divisional game between the Miami Dolphins and San Diego Chargers that I think is the greatest game of all time. It's even now known as the Epic in Miami, and Sports Illustrated called it the game no one should have lost. Dan Fouts and the Chargers were up 24-0 in the first quarter, and Don Shula had a career backup named Don Strock, and he gave David Woodley the start of the hook pretty quick and put Don Strock in that game. And then right before halftime, Miami threw the old hook and lateral. That's the first time I'd ever seen that done, and it's probably the best version of it you'll ever see. If you've never seen that, go Google that. But this game had everything. Kellen Winslow had 13 catches for 166 yards and a touchdown. He blocked a field goal that saved the game. Kellen Winslow became a legend that day. And both kickers missed field goals in overtime, and ultimately, finally, San Diego won that game 41-38. It was, as a kid, I was like watching this game in awe and wonder. And I was actually rooting for Miami, and they lost, but it was just such a dramatic game. It was just something back and forth the whole way, and it was as a kid, man. That really always has stuck with me is what an absolute fantastic football game, and made me fall in love with the sport even more. So if you get a chance, I know NFL Network sometimes will go back and revisit that game, and it's worth watching that because, like I said, Kellen Winslow, at the end of that game, his teammates were dragging him off the field because he kept cramping, and he had to keep pulling him out of the game, and it was just such an incredible game. And the following week, they ended up losing to Cincinnati in like one of the coldest games of all time, and so that was all for naught. The Bengals went on to the Super Bowl against the 49ers that year, but please Google that. If nothing else, you got to see that hook and lateral that Don Strock threw. I think it was Tony Nathan scored on it, but best version of that play you'll ever see.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out on the. I think the NFL has a YouTube channel called NFL Throwbacks, and
that was really nice. You know what, Eddie, cool. Because I know you do the editing of this. Are you able to put in some somber like violin music behind that whole thing that he just said? Because that was just like that was Lifetime movie material right there. And
on the Hallmark Network,
like what is the Mighty Ducks like Flying V type? I need that behind his whole speech right there.
Yeah, because it was fantastic. I mean, I know that you thought that football started the year that Clemson hired Dabo. But came prior to that going on. So, 1982, January 1982, boys.
Oh yeah, wasn't born. All right, but I'm going to put this out there as well because I want to give a quick shout out to one of our listeners before, Jenna Clem. I do apologize for our co-host because he put you in the penalty box because you didn't follow instructions on one of the questions. But now this is the second week in a row that the money man Scotty D has not followed his own instructions because he want to put honorable mentions. He want to name 7 different movies. And yeah, you know what? You're going in the penalty box because you say you're too old that you to narrow it down to just one? Well, Uncle Max is twice your age, and he was able to narrow it down to one. So, Scotty, you're in the Pelicans.
That's because Uncle Max can't remember anything else other than the Ice Bowl. That's the last game he watched. And that's that movie thing. You guys are in the penalty box too because you couldn't think of Caddyshack. Come on.
Oh my God! Cut it out! Cut it out! Eddie Cool.
There's a lot of movies. Oh man, give me my train back. All right, here we go. I've seen a lot of football games in my life, but I'm just gonna have to go ahead and say it, Scotty. The picture that you used for this week's question, the game between the Rams and the Chiefs of last season. Look. It was the game that was supposed to be. I think was this the game that was supposed to be played in Monday night in Mexico City?
Yes. Yep.
But they had issues, so they had to relocate everything to the Coliseum in LA. Look, and I think was there wildfires going on during that time too? It was a whole lot going on at that point in time. I can't remember. I think wildfires were going on. Well, anyways, that's neither here nor there. But with that being said. That game has to be one of the greatest games I've ever seen. It was back and forth. It was a slugfest. Fellas, you know as well as I do, and some of our other friends that know us, you know, we all watch Monday Night Raw on Monday nights. But Monday Night Raw could not hold a candle to that matchup against the Chiefs and the Rams. Couldn't mess with it. I couldn't even tell you what the main event was that night. Don't matter, don't care. But that game, they scored over 100 points. It was just back and forth, and I'm just like, wow, this could be a preview of the Super Bowl. But instead, we
really wanted that to be the Super Bowl, man. God Almighty, that's wow. That is definitely an instant classic.
Yeah, that would have been cool to see that game again for sure.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if we ever have a Monday night game close to that magnitude with so much on the line. You had two good teams. It was late in the season. They both had something to play for. They both had a point to prove, and it was just everything. The game had everything in it that one could want and imagine. High drama, high stakes. Defense played, but apparently they didn't play hard enough. And Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff, the future quarterbacks of the NFL, the future stand-up bearers of the NFL, showing you why. Hey, we're here to stay, and we gonna play. We gonna play till we can't play no more. Man, I won't be surprised if we see those two in the Super Bowl. If not this year and in the future, I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Would not surprise me one bit. Right, we just looked into the future for that brief moment there. All right, and that is it for our Choices of the Voices section. The greatest games ever besides the Super Bowl. Shout out to Uncle Max, Chris Overholt, J.R. Speaks, Pete Terrible Talansky, Trey Duke, Rodney Bellamy, Mike Davis, Jeff Seiberg, and Martin Tracy for coming through like they usually do. As I drop the phone, I will edit that though. For coming through like they usually do on the Choices of the Voices section. All right, Scotty D, what is next week's question for the Choices of the Voices?
Well, with football season coming upon us, I threw out that NFL game question for you this past week, but a lot of you are college fans. So for next week, tell us about the greatest college football game that you have ever seen.
Be live. Wait. Okay, you can wait till next week.
God,
where you going? You can wait till next week.
I know you've got about 15 Clemson games at the ready.
No,
already.
I have one. I only need one. And we will talk about it next week. I have restraint. I mean, it just happens to be about dude that went to Soccer High School. I mean, just 1 second left. See my
Hunter Renfro. Matter of fact, I
wonder if it's Alabama and Clemson. I wonder if that's going to be his choice.
I can think of a Clemson game. Didn't Woody Hayes punch somebody from Clemson in the mouth one year? He lost his mind.
For Ohio State, that was his last game ever.
Yeah, Woody Hayes, bop!
Sent to the eternal penalty box.
Oh yeah, and just for the record, thank you for that little gem as well. Because guess what school has never beaten Clemson? That would be the Ohio State Buckeyes. Shout out to a good friend of the show. I mean, Eddie's better half, Mercedes, an Ohio State alum. Love you, mean it, big sis, big little sis, you know. Um,
Be Live, do you understand that
you can.
that heat is a mug, okay?
Oh, yes, it is.
Heat is a mug, all right? So what you have to understand is peace has to be kept and maintained in this house at all times, okay? What you are not going to do.
But see now you see how I felt last week when you didn't want to put my mom into the choices of the voices segment. So yeah, payback is all right. Cool.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? It ain't over yet. But all right. Speaking of payback and returning, guess what section's back, fellas? The one, the only, the infamous penalty box. And guess what? We got a whole new revamped penalty box. But one person lets us know that recidivism is real. All right, so here we go. The first one, the LA Dodgers for not making a move before the trade deadline. Scotty D, what happened?
That's a great question. They had a couple prospects that they were unwilling to part with, and they could have had Javier Vasquez from my Pittsburgh Pirates, who's having a great season. The Pirates are terrible this year. He's having a great year as the closer. And if the Dodgers get to the championship or World Series this year and they don't seal the deal, and it's because of bullpen, man, there's going to be a lot of trouble in LA for that. They're going to win their division this year for the 6th year in a row. So, if that's the Pirates winning the division this year, that's a win. But for the Dodgers at this point, they're past that. They have to win the World Series if they're, to be considered successful. And I think at this point, you gotta pull out all the stops. So I like Vasquez. I'm glad he's still a Pirate, but I think the Dodgers should have made that deal and landed an extra closer, and they're going to the postseason.
See,
Yep.
I'm
you did bring up an interesting point. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up that point for our wonderful listeners because I do not agree with Scotty D on this. Like I get some parts of it where you want to bolster up your lineup, you want to secure your bullpen and make that push and everything. But I mean, the Dodgers do have the best record in baseball. I mean, and their starting lineup and their bullpen have allowed the second fewest runs in all of baseball. So
we're talking sealing the deal for the postseason here. They gave up 10 yesterday, Sunday.
It's one
10
day.
runs on the board for the Padres on Sunday. I mean, I'm just saying, if you have the window open, you got to go through it. You got to do it now. And, that team has money to burn. So if they give up a prospect, it's not like they don't have the means to sign a free agent in 2 or 3 years, and bring, other big names to town. They have the means to sign talent. They're not a small market team. But right now they need pitching, and they need it in the bullpen. And I think they blew it there. I really do.
Well, I'll say this. If they blow it in the postseason, penalty box. Right now, how do you put the best team in baseball in the penalty box right now?
Because they didn't bust a move.
Yeah.
Again, they have the best record.
And just like you said, be like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the Scotty D's point, hey man, every year that window's it gets smaller and smaller and tighter and tighter. Just ask the San Diego Chargers that had all those good teams and Phoenix Suns. Then we had this conversation about teams that can't seal the deal a few weeks ago.
We had this conversation, but guess what? It ain't been the bullpen that hasn't showed up in the postseason for the Dodgers. It's one of their aces that never shows up in the postseason. Clayton Kershaw, are you at any time you want to you just stop playing in September? Am I lying?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You're not lying, man. I don't know, man. It's the classic case of I'll be the greatest regular season pitcher, and then come to playoffs. No, man, we ain't got time for that. All right, Dodger fans, let us know what's going on. Let us know what in the hell is going on in the city of Angels. All right, also, in the penalty box. Everyone involved in the Cincinnati and Pittsburgh brawl, including
Scott, your favorite. Say it.
Clint Hurdle. He's back.
Oh
He's
man,
back.
he's back. So Clint Hurdle was free all of what, 2.5 weeks?
Where'd you come up with a half a week?
2.5. I'm just saying.
I mean, we record every single Monday. There's no half a week. Like,
I'm talking about for him though. I'm talking about, was he free for 2.5 weeks? I know we record every single week.
That's what
Stop laughing at me.
I'm just saying, like, where you get a half a week from? Like,
I'll tell you what, I'm going to even it out here. We're only going to put him in the penalty box this time for half of a week, just because.
Just to even
it out, yeah. Because I don't think Clint Hurdle in this situation, and I've been very clear that I'm not a fan of him and his managerial style. But in this situation, he had a pitcher throw high and tight on the opposing team, on the Reds. He threw high and tight, didn't hit a guy, but he did throw high and tight. The Reds retaliated. They hit our guy in the 8th inning. In the meantime, the manager of the Reds gets tossed. David Bell gets tossed for arguing balls and strikes. When this fight breaks out, he comes back out onto the field. He gets a 6-game suspension. Hurdle gets 2-game suspension. For what? What did he get suspended for?
Yeah, because the video I saw, like, they were trying to hold, Clint Hurdle back, and I can understand Bell, and it was funny because I could see Bell he was like on the ground with his hair unfluffled and everything, and I was like, he is out there fighting for real. Clint Hurdle, somebody's trying to hold him back because they know he's going to go out there and mess around and break a hip.
Well, yeah, he's already got 2 new hips. he
the
can't scrap.
The reason why Clint Hurdle got suspended is because he was the manager in charge of the team when the pitcher threw high and tight at the guy. Because the pitcher got suspended for 10 games.
10 games, and he didn't hit a guy. He got suspended for being stupid and not saying the ball slipped. I mean, every other pitcher that's ever hit a guy has always said, "Oh, I lost it on that one."
Ball slipped.
That he had some animosity towards the team, but he didn't hit a guy, and he got 10 games. The Reds reliever charged our dugout and started a fight. He threw a roundhouse. He got 8 games. Now, if he never makes that charge, nobody gets suspended. So why is Hurdle suspended? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. You got a manager who's been tossed out of the game, out there rolling around on the field, and he only gets 6 games? Come on.
And he was literally rolling around in the field. It was so funny. I'm like, what the hell is he doing on the ground? Oh, yeah, by the way, Yasiel Puig, who was traded right before the fight happened, he is already a fan favorite in Cleveland because you know why? He's already fighting guys in Pittsburgh. He is already a fan. He is already the mayor of Cleveland just because he fought somebody from Pittsburgh. So he's already over with that.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if he's the mayor of the entire city because y'all people in Cleveland love y'all some Baker Mayfield right now.
Hey, man.
I'm just saying.
Baker Mayfield right now, he's a bad man. You know I bleed Carolina black and blue, baby. But I've seen Baker Mayfield live. Okay, I've seen him live, and I'm you know what? Cleveland got it right this time. I'll say that they got it right this time. Moving on to the WWE Network. Yes, I put a whole app in the penalty box. You want to know why? Because I can't Chromecast from my phone to my TV. Only got one smart TV in the house, and guess what? They took the app off of that smart TV, WWE Network. What the hell is going on? SummerSlam is coming up soon. I like watching old stuff, Mid-Atlantic, wrestling, all that good stuff. What the hell are you doing? Get it right, or I want my money back. In the words of the Almighty Be Live, I digress.
I'm going to take your word for that since I don't know what Chromecast means. So go ahead.
I don't think you're allowed to make any more old jokes about.
I'm not joking. I don't.
No. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying you're not allowed to make any more jokes about Uncle Max if you don't know what Chromecast is. Like honestly, you are really showing your age right now.
All right.
Golly.
This is great. And speaking of a blast from the past that we didn't talk about last year because we wasn't on show last year, Terrell Owens, he lands his big muscle-bound ass in the penalty box as well, too. And why is he in this penalty box, Scott?
Because he didn't go to the Hall of Fame ceremony last year, and that was stupid. He was griping for years about not being able to get into the Hall of Fame, and other guys stood up for him. And then when he finally got elected, they had to mail his jacket to him by UPS. I mean, come on. You don't show up for Canton. That's penalty box material, even though it's a year old. We just didn't have a show last year, or he'd have been in it last year.
Yep. He probably would have. Him and Clint Hurdle probably would have been tied for longest reigning residents in the penalty box. And be live. Haha, you're going to like this one. D'Angelo Williams, former Carolina Panther and Pittsburgh Steelers running back, from suffering from scorn lover syndrome. He said that Derrick Henry is the most important running back to his team.
What? But and you know what? I get part of his point, but I honestly think D'Angelo Williams literally just talks out of the side of his neck to hear himself talk, because stuff he says doesn't make any sense. Like, can he keep the Panthers out of his conversation? Like, I get it. You don't like what happened. You thought that you were still a serviceable running back, and guess what? In the terms of running backs, it's by committee at this point in time, because the game has changed so much. Just stop being butthurt. Let it go. My goodness. How many years has it been now that he's not been with the team, and now he's sitting somewhere? Like, who keeps inviting him on these shows and asking him his professional opinion? But I'll give him a little bit of credit. Him and Jonathan Stewart, the duo together, did some damage. Please let me reemphasize that. The duo of D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart did double trouble. It was a duo. D'Angelo Williams, you know what? Guess what? That was the system that we had. Let it go. You still had I think you had a pretty substantial NFL career. Congratulations. But good Lord, let it go. Stop being so angry at the Panthers. Dang.
Kiss and make up, man. They'll put you in the Ring of Honor. Come on.
I don't know about that. No. I don't know. He has been too blasphemous. Steve Smith, man, is Smitty. That's Smitty, Agent 89. That dude was the truth. We did him wrong. Steve Smith, we did him wrong.
Dirty.
God Almighty. He showed us when he went to Baltimore. He showed us that we were just wrong.
Blood and guts. He said there's gonna be blood and guts everywhere.
3 years, $9 million. We couldn't get. Come on, Steve Smith. We got it right. We could put him in the Hall of Honor. Steve Smith, love you, man. D'Angelo Williams, nah, bro. Nah, you just too black. You just too neck, mouth, side, or just whatever you just want to see. I ain't
doing too much.
Yeah.
And
.com. Doing too much .com. I need this stuff to be on the air, so when somebody else be trying to grab something, like, I said it first.
Exactly. B-Live did it first. All right. And that's another edition of the penalty box. And hopefully we can get Clint Hurdle out of here forever.
I'd
love for him to get out forever. He's out of baseball.
And according to Eddie Cool, he's in there for a half a week. Because he's making arbitrary decisions in the middle of the week somehow, even though we record during the beginning. It's okay. It's all right.
Leave me alone. All right. And that's a penalty box. All right. We reached the point of the show where it is pepper time. You know how it is. 3 topics, kind of sort of rapid fire style. And since I got the ball first, I'm going to try this again. To our listeners, if you wanted to hear the first time I boxed it up, you're not going to hear it unless I make a greatest hits compilation. Oh, man. Whew. All right. Now I got myself together. First pepper point goes out to these 3 gentlemen. See if these names sound familiar. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, and Bo Bichette. Who are these gentlemen, might you ask? These 3 are the sons of former major leaguers Dante Bichette, Craig Biggio, and Vladimir Guerrero Sr. And guess what? These 3 guys, They play all on the same team, the Toronto Blue Jays. Over to you, Scotty D.
Yeah, man, Toronto. That's some promise if those guys pan out.
Yep.
All right. Last Saturday when I went to bed, the Boston Red Sox had just beaten the Yankees in the first 3 games of a 4-game series, and that is the last time that they won. This past weekend, the Yankees returned the favor by not only winning the first 3, but completing that sweep on Sunday night, a 4-game sweep. Now, I know there's still a lot of baseball left, but Boston suddenly finds themselves 6.5 games back at the top wild card spot. They're trailing the Indians, Rays, and the Athletics. And I know there's 2 months left to get it together. They still have time to get hot, but they better get their pitching staff in order, or they will be watching the playoffs with the Sports Bros this October. Over to you, B Live.
Sports Bros with the Sox.
Yeah.
Go ahead, B.
So yeah, Scotty D showing his age again. Has anybody called them the Athletics in God knows how long? But that's cool. It's just the Oakland A's to everybody. I know what it is, but I mean we use slang. We shorten things up.
That's an unnecessary dig, and that's noted for
He said, that was so unnecessary. All right, so check it out. Switching sports on you real quick. Draymond Green gets the bag. 4 years, $100 million extension. So now all of them boys over there, they are trying to keep that squad together. They said, we don't need Kevin Durant anymore. We won a championship with the 3 of us, and the Golden State Warriors are paying all of them. Draymond's $25 million a year. Klay Thompson got a max. I think his is like $35 million, and Steph Curry is still making $40 million a year. Ooh. So they're making, those 3 players are making $100 million every year. Yeah, a lot of money. Draymond Green, he deserves it though. He's like the glue that holds that team together. You know, he's been the vocal leader of the team. He's a hothead. He's about two technicals away from a lifetime suspension. And then in the rules somewhere, because I know it's in the rules, like you have 17 technicals, you get a game suspension. I think over the course of a career, he's almost there with Dennis Rodman numbers. But hey, so.
Good God.
Eddie Cool, you can take this ball from me. Go ahead now.
Wow, a lifetime. Oh,
I just made that up. I don't know.
Okay, that's why I'm over here. I'm over like, are you? I'm like, what in the hell?
I just made that up. Are you kidding me? You thought that was a real thing? Oh, Eddie Cool, penalty box. All right, go ahead.
Oh, cut me some slack, fellas. All right,
half a week.
Oh man, I love it.
A very fun edition of the Sports Bros podcast. All at my expense, ladies and gentlemen. All at my expense. I wouldn't have it any other way. All right. My second pepper point goes to the Houston Astros. They accomplished a magnificent feat this weekend, if you will. They threw a collective no-hitter. Now, you might be asking, Eddie Cool, what in the hell is a collective no-hitter? Well, a collective no-hitter is when more than one pitcher participates in a no-hitter. So shout out to Aaron Sanchez, Will Harris, Jason Bajini, and Chris Davinsky. Yes. The 4 Horsemen. Whoa! Oh, no, I'm sorry. But yeah, they pitched a no-hitter. Yeah, pretty impressive feat. Since I got this ball, goes over to you, Scotty D.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. And just to piggyback on that, the Astros and Dodgers currently have the same record, and the Astros did make a deal at the trade deadline. So I guess they didn't think that they were good enough. See that? All right. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Go ahead.
So I don't watch a ton of the Hall of Fame ceremony stuff just because I get bored with it. But I did happen to catch a little bit of Ed Reed's speech. And Ed Reed has a special place in my heart because he was a Baltimore Raven, and he was beating up on the Steelers back in his heyday, and I'm not a big Steeler fan. So I thought it was really cool to see him getting his just due. He was always kind of in the shadow behind Ray Lewis, who was the leader of that defense. But Ed Reed was an outstanding player, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but his bust was pretty cool. You see a lot of busts at the Hall of Fame that just they don't look a lot like the guy who they're supposed to represent, but
Yeah.
Ed Reed's bust was pretty darn cool. So good weekend and shout out for Ed Reed. Over to you, B Live.
That's I'll definitely have to check that out because I'm the same with you. Like the Hall of Fame ceremony is definitely touching. It's usually just on a Saturday night when I'm like at work and I'm busy. I'm just like I can't really focus all my attention to the ceremony and everything. But
Got stuff going on.
yeah. So speaking of football and enshrinements and egos and entitlements, Madden 2020
Oh,
and Dallas Cowboys star DeMarcus Lawrence. There is a slight beef because Lawrence got rated an 89 overall. And he wants the entire Dallas Cowboys franchise and nation to boycott Madden 2020
no,
and
Lord.
put some respect on his name. You know what? Here's something. Like, I don't know how this works out, but doesn't because your image is on the game, don't you get certain royalties or certain provisions with the sales or something? Don't you get paid by Madden for using your likeness or something like that?
I don't know if it's that or if it's considered property of the league or intellectual property or I don't know.
Well, I know there's a reason why the NCAA football game is not there anymore, but I don't know. Either way, A is dumb that you want to boycott a video game. B, you consider yourself very fortunate that you're actually in a video game. Hey, guess what? I'm pretty sure there's 3 guys that are participating in a podcast right now that wouldn't mind being part of a video game. Got fellas, maybe, I don't know.
I would. What about you, Scotty D?
I'd like to be in Pac-Man.
Where in the entire hell
Put me in
did that?
Pac-Man. Make me a ghost.
I'm about to fall in chair. Oh, good.
Where in the hell did that come from?
I've never played the Madden game, so that doesn't mean anything to me. Okay. So I guess I'm boycotting. So
okay.
there you go.
There you go. Ta-da. All right. So the Cowboy Nation has one more person that's boycotting the game. Pac-Man. Out of all the games, though, like Scotty D, like your Social Security check must have just came in.
Wow.
Pac-Man. Wow.
Great video game.
He didn't even go 8-bit on us. You know, we went old school Atari. But I digress. Jeez. But yeah. DeMarcus Lawrence has got a 5-year, $100 million contract, and he's worried about the Madden 2020 game that's got him rated at an 89. But hey, guess what? We really don't care about. Some people do care about the ratings, but at the end of the day, I want to play. I'm never going to play with the Cowboys ever, but just be glad that you're in a game and you're actually making 9 figures for playing a sport, a game, and get over yourself. But that's pretty much it. Madden 2020. I'm about to buy it, and I got to give it a couple weeks. You know, I got to wait for my next check to hit. But I am definitely getting it. Shout out to some of my Madden players out there because I'm coming for you. It's about to go down like 4 flat tires.
Yes, sir.
Eddie Cool.
Like 4 flat tires.
Just get it. Eddie Cool. Handle it.
All right. My third and final pepper point. Yesterday was the 26-year anniversary of the epic clash between a young Robin Ventura and an aging but strong as ever Nolan Ryan. Just remember, you never underestimate the power of old man strength. We will post this video up later today on the Light page so you can see what happens when a young buck challenges an old bull. All I got to say is headlock with one arm, punches to the dome with the other. Scotty D, over to you.
How ironic that Nolan Ryan was 46 and so am I. So just since we're on the topic of old guys, thank you for that one, Nolan Ryan. All right, I'm gonna finish up by I'm gonna read a quote to you from Jerry Jones this past week on the Ezekiel Elliott situation, and then I'm gonna respond. So here's the quote. I don't see a point. Well, we've got some sloppy rules relative to holdouts. We're not as bright lined enough in that area to do the best thing for the game. While we're not there right now, there are some lines there, and they do bite when you don't play. I don't have a time that I'm looking that is a concern. And here's my response. Mr. Jones, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Yes.
Everyone is dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yes.
Be live, over to you.
Yes, Scotty. Yes, Scotty D for the win. Thank you.
Man,
when you read that, and I was like, "What? What did he just say?"
I'm like, does Jerry want to go
direct
fishing?
quote.
That would thank you, because that I was thinking that exact Billy Madison thing. Oh, thank you so much. I needed that in my life.
Ugh.
Oh man, we have had a lot of laughs, a lot of jokes, and a lot of things that we've enjoyed throughout this show and everything. And with my third final pepper point, it's going to be on more of a somber note. I had the luxury of attending the United States Naval Academy a long time ago, and one of the military service academies, and I was going to go into the Marine Corps, and life happened, stuff like that. The Naval Academy football team this coming year was going to use the motto "Load the clip." It was going to be a battle cry. But in the lights of the past few events and the mass shootings in Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas, and there was also a shooting in Annapolis, Maryland, where the Naval Academy is located. In light of that, they've decided to change their motto. They've decided to pull that motto, and it's a real sad moment. I mean, because it's one of those things where certain things. I mean, it builds camaraderie. It's meant to be tongue in cheek, but unfortunately, because of certain people's actions and stuff like that, it takes everything just really out of context. So we here at the Sports Rose Podcast, we would just like to take this moment, prayers to all the families that were affected these past couple of days, and it's really sad that these events occur. And I would like to. We usually don't get political or anything when it comes to this show, and we're not going to choose this moment right now. But we urge the general public and everybody not to make this political, not to make this about race,
Absolutely.
not to make this about anything, but just the fact of human lives lost.
Yep.
So I'm just taking a moment and prayers out to all the families affected.
I like that.
Yep. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families in Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas, who have lost loved ones to another random act of senseless, unnecessary violence. Love, not hate, because love is the way. All right. With that being said, that is another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. And in case you want to get in contact, I've got to tell you a little quick story, guys. I don't know if I told you guys, but everywhere I go in Cleveland, people looking at me, they literally come running up to me. And I found out why. For some odd reason, I may have a striking resemblance to a former Cleveland Browns wide receiver kick returner, Josh Cribbs. Do you see it? Good. Neither do I. Neither do I. With that being said, Scotty D, where can they reach you?
Yeah, man. I people do that with me all the time. They think I'm Brad Pitt when they first see me, and then once they get up close, they realize I'm not. I'm much better looking. But yeah, man. You can find me on Facebook, Scott Donnelly, and I'm still at the Beast Ninja Gym obstacle training course in Myrtle Beach. So if you're in the area, come check that out.
You can also find Scotty D at Grand Strand Regional Medical Center
Center.
because he's suffering from the early signs of dementia. Brad Pitt, get the
Yeah, man, that happens.
oh my God, Scotty D, love you, man. I'm sorry, I can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can also find Brad Pitt there too. This, in case you didn't know, peek behind the curtain. Scotty D is Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt is Scotty D. But with that being said, Beeline, where can they reach you?
Well, speaking of lookalikes, you know, I'm gonna put in a dig on myself. You know, you can actually find me. I don't know. Can you find me on Nickelodeon or Nick at Night? What was it an Bill Cosby cartoon? Yeah,
Little Bill.
Yeah. All right. There you go. You got the dig on myself right there. But you can find me. You can find me 9 times out of 10 at Max Speed Shop at 482 North Efficient Church Road in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where I currently am employed and what pays the bills until somebody decides to give us a sponsorship.
Yeah.
But, hey, we're growing every day, and I'm telling you, man, we will turn dreams into reality. This is more than just a hobby to us. But you can find us. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter by my handle. This be your boy, Be Live, no I. So THSBEYABOYBLIVE. You can find me there. You can find us also on Instagram and Twitter, the Sports Bros Podcast. On Twitter, it's Sports Bros PCast. On Instagram, it's Sports Bros Podcast. You can find some quick tidbits there. I try to keep up with that from time to time. You can find us on our Facebook like page, the Sports Bros Podcast, or you can contact us via email at sportsbrospcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube at Sports Bros Podcast, man. We're trying to do it all, trying to do it big, man. We enjoy what we do. Hit us up. Let us know. Fantasy football. Hit us up, man. I'm telling you. I'm coming for that belt, by the way.
Oh boy, here we go. He coming for the belt.
I'm coming for rainmakers. You drizzling over there.
Watch your mouth. Your mouth. Watch it, okay?
Oh man, dude, check us out. Thank you to all of our listeners, man. And let us know any tidbits, any advice. Shoot us an email. Shoot us a comment. Recommend us on Facebook, man. This is how we grow. Is by your voice, man. We do this for the fan, by the fan, man. We can't do it without you, and we appreciate you.
Also, if you got some famous friends with some money, if you're out there listening, let us hold something. No, I'm joking. I'm playing.
No, I'm not playing. Shoot. Hey,
it'll be a worthy investment. Trust us. All right, you can reach me, the head of creative, at Facebook at the Sports Bros Podcast Facebook like page. And as B-Live mentioned, the Sports Bros, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We worldwide, baby, worldwide. Also, you can reach us here at anchor.fm. If you still want to be a part of the show, hey, go ahead and download that app. Go ahead and leave us a voice message. And guess what? Who knows? We just might feature your message here on the Sports Bros Podcast. Also, fantasy football coming up soon. Like I said, the draft will be August the 22nd at 8 p.m. So go ahead and mark your calendars, get your time off, get ready to get your team together so they can be destroyed by the rain as well, too. Facebook, Instagram, you can reach me. Cool Season on Instagram, all one word. Snapchat, Super Cool 5000. And that's it. That's where I can be reached. And I'm not too far away from graduation. Yes, cap and gown came a couple weeks ago, and nice. I am happy, stoked, excited. Here we come, California. We coming for you, but I'm not going to go that far.
The Sports Bros are coming to San Diego, California. Well, 2/3 of us anyway.
2/3, but it's all good, though. We'll just get Scott to get some fat head. It's all good. Scott,
yeah, just take a picture of me.
That's it. They'll put you right there in the middle. Oh, Oceanside, California, the Sports Bros. Is that Scott in the picture? Shut up. He's here. All right, with that being said, thank you for joining us for another action-packed and wildly entertaining episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. I'm not going to lie, guys. I needed this laugh. It's been a while since I laughed this hard. I am literally sweating, but thank God for the AC. And with that being said, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else, and they will greatly appreciate it. It's been another edition of the Sports Bros Podcast.
Yes, sir.
No song, Scott? You're not going to sing this week? Not going to sing us out?
He's got nothing.
He's got nothing.
And we're out.
And we're out.